Good morning, everybody. This is Bill Myers from the Department of Human Resources, and welcome to our webinar on Front Porch Forum. We're really excited today because we have here two guests from Front Porch Forum. We have Susie McCoy, who is our sales representative. So she would be somebody you would be contacting in the future when you are interested in placing a job ad with them. And we also have Michael Wood-Lewis, who is one of the co-founders of Front Porch Forum. So they're going to talk a little bit about the forum, and they're going to give a little bit of data and information around it. And then hopefully around 20-minute mark or so, we're going to turn it over to questions for you. Then you can just put your questions, if you have your control panel open on the right-hand side, there's a question box. And you can just type those in, and I will, when it comes to question time, I will ask Michael and Susie those questions, and we'll get you answers. Again, all the contact information will be on these handouts that are part of this, and you will have, I will send to you. And so if you miss anything or something wasn't clear, you can contact Susie, or you can refer back to these materials. So, so the first thing I want to do is pick a quick little poll about people's familiarity with Front Porch Forum. So, so let's see here. Almost closed. So I want to make sure, because I'm doing on one screen here. Okay, so you see here some questions around your familiarity. So once I kind of just get how familiar you are with Front Porch Forum, and you can see the questions here, whether you've posted jobs or announcements from the state of Vermont, you posted jobs or announcements from another job, or for personal reasons, you're a member but never posted it, or no, I've never even used it. So take about a minute here just to kind of collect the responses, and then we can kind of look at them.
Do we know geographically where people are?
No, they're probably from all over, yeah. All right. All right, just a couple more. We'll give about 10 more seconds, and we'll close the poll. All right. So we're going to share out the responses here. And see what your view is. Make sure you have all. Okay, so it looks like about 6% have posted a job or an announcement on Front Porch Forum for the state of Vermont. About 25% of you have posted a job or announcement either for personal reasons or for another place you worked. Almost half of you are members, but never posted anything, and about a quarter of you have never used it. So that's good. So Susie and Michael can kind of take you through just kind of introducing the folks that haven't used it, and then kind of talking a little bit further, and then we will take those questions after. So without further ado, Michael, you're going to start off?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Bill. And hello to everyone across Vermont. My name is Michael Wood-Lewis, co-founder and CEO of Front Porch Forum. And my takeaway from the poll is 75% of the callers have had some experience with Front Porch Forum, which is terrific. I'm glad to hear that. And I will try to tailor these opening comments along those lines. So, Bill, as you're getting this thing set up,
sorry,
that's okay. I'm trying to remember what my first slide is.
I don't know why it's caught up in here. So,
okay.
I'm sorry, a little bit technical difficulties. I got to hide this. Okay, now I think I'm good. All right, here we go.
Like I said, I'm glad you know your way around this system. I sure don't.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. Now, Michael, go ahead.
Okay. So we can go to the next slide when you're ready.
Yep.
There we go. Maybe back one.
Okay.
Well, what we found is that Vermonters have become more engaged, more informed, more neighborly once Front Porch Forum has gotten started in their local community. And I'll go on to explain more about that. But next slide, please. So our mission is to help neighbors connect and build community. Our Front Porch Forum is a small business started in Burlington. My wife and I started 11 years ago. We now have 16 employees, and we host a statewide network of online neighborhood forums. We have more than 140,000 members, with more joining every day, hundreds a week. And as I mentioned, we serve every town in Vermont. If you've been on Front Porch Forum, you've seen postings like this one, minus the photo. I have a few sample postings in this presentation from a photographer and artist and UVM professor emeritus, Dan Higgins. He does these great photos in Winooski and other parts of the state. Anyways, he was enamored with the postings on his local Front Porch Forum. He did an art exhibition around them not so long ago. So this is a couple who are selling eggs, and that's a classic, typical posting. People post to their neighbors about what's going on around them. So next slide shows an example of a couple of issues. Typically, a community gets one issue a day. And in this case, someone's seeking a lost cat, a new neighbor joined, someone's giving away onion plants, etc. The superintendent of the school district is giving an update. And as you go down, someone's seeking chimney sweep recommendations, looking for a baby gate, looking for a bicycle, giving away sandbags, etc. Oh, that bottom one actually is a regional planning commission talking about a operation safety corridor project. So these are all headlines, and then the members would get the full postings in their inbox when they see that. So what we find is that Front Porch Forum, we're mission driven, and our mission is to help neighbors connect and build community. And in much of the state, we have, as I mentioned, 140,000 members. The state has about 260,000 households. So in much of the state, we have tremendously high rate of traction, where 3/4, 80% or more of households will participate. That's true in most of Chittenden, Addison, Lamoille, Washington, Grand Isle counties. Lower numbers in southern Vermont and Northeast Kingdom, but still very significant. And also another important point is, unlike other social media where most of the people watch most of the time and don't contribute content, on Front Porch Forum, 50% of the members add their voice because of the nature of how it's designed. We have recently the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation approached us and said they were fascinated by how Front Porch Forum affects social capital among neighbors, increases actual real-life social networks. And so they provided a grant for an independent third party to conduct a large member survey. And some of the results are sprinkled throughout these slides, including a few of these examples. 91% of members are more informed about local community issues once they join FPF. 84% are more likely to attend a local event, 71% more likely to attend a public meeting, etc. Buying local, 67% more likely to volunteer locally. Huge boon to area nonprofits, for example.
It's important to add that 15,000 members responded to a 20-minute survey.
Yeah, the survey is pretty remarkable. They never, the consultants who do this kind of thing all the time were stunned. We had 15,000 responses to a very long survey. People are enthusiastic about their local communities and about Front Porch Forum. Another sample posting here, announcing a farmer's market and when it opens. That's okay. This is an example of the web page for the Cambridge, Vermont Front Porch Forum. And we do get lots and lots of local public officials, some state officials who join and participate. I think we're at 2,000 to 3,000 currently are signed up, and select board members, school board members, state reps, etc. Well, I just had to include this picture because I thought it was great. Kind of scary, but this is a neighbor looking to help people out by trimming their high hedges, and just whatever, kind of his own wacky posting, and he did that for a bunch of neighbors. So what we find on Front Porch Forum is that neighbors typically start with kind of one-way postings on the top left. They recommend a plumber, or they seek a recommendation, they find the lost pet, they talk about a car break-in. But over time, the community moves towards more back and forth. They start using it to organize things, a neighborhood watch, a club of some sort, a dog walking group, a meal train for people who's had a kitchen fire, what have you. And that's what we love to see happen. That's when we know we're starting to fulfill our social mission. Another example, the VFW having a chicken barbecue, and we find that in our survey that I can't remember the exact numbers, but majority of Front Porch Forum members have lived in their communities for more than 10 years. And then we also have a good influx of newcomers. So it's a mix of folks who've been here a long time and people new to communities. We've been humbled by a lot of national recognition that we've gotten, as well as recognition in state. It's an unusual model that doesn't exist other places. So what we find is that people get on Front Porch Forum usually for a simple need. They just want to stay informed about local goings-on, or they want to find a free pair of skates for their kid who just outgrew the brand new ones you bought a month ago. And what happens is they stick around, and over time they start to become more informed about local issues. They start to witness people helping each other more. They start to their perception of their local community starts to evolve in a direction of, this is a kind of place that takes care of each other, and it's my community, and I'm part of it, and I'm actually going to get more involved. People start showing up more for select board meetings, school board meetings, start volunteering more. We see this anecdotally, we see it through this survey, and it does actually increase civic engagement, which we're thrilled about. FPF also nurtures small businesses. We have more than 8,000 small businesses who have entered their information in our online business directory. Take a look. You can find it right on our homepage at frontporchforum.com. You can search by geography or type of business. And also, this all adds up towards building more resilient communities. When people are more informed, better connected, know more people, more involved, that increases resiliency for when the next unfortunate situation arises, be it an Irene type of disaster or a more localized event. And that's a very important part of our work. So I mentioned 140,000 member counts. I guess we're up to 145,000, and we've got to keep updating our numbers. The demographics of who participates, it's really most all of Vermont. There's a few tweaks here. Our member demographics are exact mirror on race and ethnicity, household income, having kids at home as a general population. Our membership is more adult, that is 25 and older. Than the general population, we don't have a ton of kids or college age, young folks. It's more female. 69% of FPF members are female versus 51% for the general population. And our members are more likely to own their own homes, 81% versus 73%. Finally, on this point, FPF members are more likely to be longtime locals and have participated for 3 or more years on FPF. People join and they tend to stick around. Just a few more points to share here. Why are they involved? The number one reason we found through this research is people really get value out of witnessing what we term daily small acts of neighborliness. I need a ride to the airport, 6 people offer to give a ride to the airport, you know. And when people witness a little of that every day, it adds up to profound impact. Also a critical point, number 2, FPF is for, by, and about Vermonters. That's really important, and that's what we're all about. We're not a big national brand, and that makes a difference. Let me go to the next slide. Thanks. A few more points from the survey. 89% of members report opening and reading each FPF e-newsletter. Our service primarily runs through a daily e-newsletter that's written by your neighbors, and people open it. We hear all the time. It's the one thing I always open from folks. You may not spend a long time on it. It's very easy to skim through and see if there's anything relevant today. And what's relevant might be the subject matter, or it might be who's writing it. Because it is your neighbors. People take offline actions due to what they see on FPF in large numbers. It really does drive people to do things, 62%. People forward their e-newsletters to other people, so there's a greater impact, to ads and postings than one might expect, because about half of those get forwarded. And this one I had to throw in there. We had a debate whether it was attractive or not. 34% of FPF members value the paid business ads in their newsletters. And that's not 99%, but I don't know what percentage. Someone said, do you value ads on television or in magazines or anywhere else? I would say no. But people do find, because they're from local, the ads are relevant too. And relevant to today's conversation, about 2/3 value the job opening postings in particular. So we can go on and we'll get wrapped up here. I'm going to just pass through some of these. These are more survey data that talks about public officials participate widely, and it leads to good things happening. And maybe I'll stop here and ask Susie to step in and talk a little bit more about the hiring and the job ads. Yeah. Susie?
So hi, I'm Susie McCoy, and I am a sales rep for Front Porch Forum. I've been with the company for 6 years, and I choose to stay because I believe in our mission, and I see it happen, and I see how we support and help local businesses with sharing their information about their offerings. And one thing that we stumbled on, within the last year was advertising for jobs. And my advertisers come back, and a lot of them, most of them come back. And in particular, they're finding qualified employees on Front Porch Forum. I think it was actually the Vermont State Parks who advertised, and might have a quote in here from them. They got 8 applicants where normally they'd get just 1, and they filled 2 of 3 positions and had a couple of more, interviews lined up, and they were thrilled. The other piece that I want to point out too about job ads is that, as you saw, people forward and share their Front Porch Forum. So I may not be looking for a job, but I know my nephew is looking for a job, or so-and-so, I know might be interested in this. And again, I may not be looking for a job, but if the right job came along at the right time, I could certainly, be interested. And there is the
Hi, everybody. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulty with the audio, so we're back. We're back. If anybody is having a problem hearing us, just let us know. Put it in the comment box or something. But apologize for that. So I'll turn it right back over to Susie.
Yeah. So I'm going to move on just because I want to get to your questions and talk a little bit about the numbers, so you know what to expect and how to decide where to target your ads and how that all works out. So once we're ready to move on with the next slide.
Yeah.
And that handout you just saw, you have as an attachment. So this is our state of Vermont map, and then on the left is like a chart, and those are 25 separate ad areas. So you could micro-target your ad to any particular county, or in Chittenden, to certain towns or groups of towns. The first column is showing you the number of members that we have in each of these ad areas. The second column is the percent of household. That's our take rate. So when you see well over 100%, that just means there's a couple of members in the same household. So that's why we get over 100% of take rate. And then ads available for a week is in each ad area. That's the maximum number of ads you could buy in any one ad area. That would mean your ad would be in every single newsletter all week long. We sell our ads weekly, Sunday through Saturday. I think 100% saturation frequency is a little bit overkill. I don't think I've ever sold 100% saturation. It's just not necessary. Your ads will rotate through all week long at whatever percent rate, 75, 50, 25%. We can run any number of ads each week in your targeted area. We do have an employment ad sale on right now, which is at a $10 CPM. CPM is cost per 1,000 ads. So we can, and I'm happy to help, craft, listen to your needs, tell me where, when, or statewide, and then we can look at, I can put together a quote for you. I don't know if there's another, yeah, go ahead. That's just the map and where all the forums are. We have 185 forums statewide. Maybe that chart would be good. The last thing I just wanted to share with you quickly before I open it up for questions is a chart from an advertising analysis that shows the percent time people spend in media, a certain media, each media, versus the percent of advertising money is spent on those. So the yellow bar is how many people, so if you look at the print column, 4% of people are spending their time on print advertising or print media, and advertisers are still spending 12% of their advertising budget there. Look, the next time is radio, TV. So if you go all the way to the side, internet and mobile, especially, that's where the opportunity is in terms of the amount of people that are spending time on internet and mobile, and as well as the amount that advertisers are spending on mobile is lagging. The nice thing to know, or the good thing to know, is where Front Porch Forum is both internet and mobile. It's an online e-newsletter. In your ad, they can click right through and apply online or get more information. So that's where the opportunity is, and that's where we are. So that's all I'm going to say. I want to really hear if you have questions, or you do have my contact information if you want to contact me directly.
Awesome. Well, thanks. We're going to just put the contact information up here now, so you can see. There. Okay, so there's Susie. Susie's information. You contact her and get more detailed information on your, your specific advertising needs. Again, so I know we went kind of quickly over these slides because we only have about a half an hour or so, but all the stuff will be shared with you, so don't feel like you missed out on anything. All these things are in your toolbox there on the right-hand side. It has all the handouts that we used for the main presentation. So, we are also recording this webinar too, so that will be available via recording too. So, with that, I'm going to see if there's any questions that people had besides, hey, where did the audio go? So does anybody have any questions right now that they'd like to ask? Well, we have Michael and Susie here. Okay, so the first one is, well, the first one, send us a copy of the slideshow, done. Next one is, does the state have a statewide contract, or do we each participate on our own? So I'll answer that one. We don't have a statewide contract at this time. What we're going to do is start with each individual department engaging directly with Susie and Front Porch Forum to place their ads with, of course, the assistance of me in recruitment to help facilitate things and help you out with whatever you need, but you will directly engage on as far as billing and placement is concerned. And we're going to look at that trend. So we're going to take that as kind of like, let's see how this goes. And so if we start to get a larger volume of people who are participating and interesting, then we'll go back and review about maybe doing a statewide contract so that we could probably get some better purchasing power. And then sort of centralize it, makes it easier for everybody. But right now, it's just going to be a one-on-one relationship for now. But we're hoping this, you know, if it takes off, we can certainly do a more broader statewide program.
We are on the state approved vendor list.
Okay, good.
So
good point. Yeah. So there's none. They don't have to go through that whole getting on the the bid lists and all that stuff. They're already approved. So.
Correct.
So it should make all the billing and that kind of stuff, payment stuff, work pretty well. We have a couple more minutes. Anybody have any other questions they'd like to ask? Well, we have these two great folks with us. They have a lot of knowledge on Front Porch Forum. So I know before this, we got another question. So what is impressions defined as? I know this is always a question that comes up.
Yeah.
What is it defined as? Is this how many people the ad will be sent out to, or how many ads we place? Good
question. So an impression is an ad. So in Burlington, for instance, we send out 100,000 impressions. That's 100,000 ads. And let's say you choose to be in 25,000. You want to purchase 25,000 impressions or ads. So your ads would go out into 25,000 inboxes. So it's really all the same name: impression, ad, inbox, member. And that is how many people we will deliver the newsletter to.
That's how many people we will send your newsletter to. We have a 99% delivery rate. There's always some small percentage of email addresses that go dead, but we rigorously maintain our list. So, it's effectively exactly what Susie said. That's how many we deliver to.
Yeah. Again, so we have about we were right at 11:30 here, but we do have another question. How do the ads come through on Front Porch Forum? The way it is laid out on the one I received is different than how the presentation is laid out, which is much more appealing. Ours just comes across as listings words.
Yes, FPF content from the members is text-based in an e-newsletter, and the ads mimic that. And so the ads are text-based. In an era when there's ever-increasing videos and banner ads and, imagery and flash, FPF has kept it simple with a text-based approach. And we've had very good results with that. People tend to pay attention and read.
And my take on that, as also a media literacy professor, is that the Front Porch Forum is a community communication medium that is highly coveted, and this is their communication space, and they're there to kind of connect with each other and ask questions and get answers, and then they look to see what's going on, or anybody responded to their ads, to their posting. And the ads are commensurate with the feel of that newsletter, so that there are no logos, there's no flashing things and what have you, and that's really what our membership wants and appreciates.
Right. Straight up.
It's not, I don't want a bunch of stuff thrown at us.
Anything else? If anybody has any other questions?
If you're not familiar with Front Porch Forum, what I would suggest and encourage highly is to get on frontporchforum.com. It'll just say, hey, become a member. Put your name and your address in. You can put your work address in. You can put your home address in, and you will be then put into the forum that is geographically your forum. And just stick around for a week or two and get a feel for what the newsletters look like. The newsletter itself, comes with a summary of the postings on top, and then there's a section called, thanks to FPF, this week's FPF sponsors. Those are the 3 ads. There's only 3 ads per newsletter maximum. And then beyond that is the actual, kind of body of any of the posts that you saw the summary for. And so definitely take a look at that and, click on some of the ads and take a look at, and kind of think about what would you put in your ad to kind of encourage and motivate someone to click through for, your job posting.
Right. We did have one more question and says, is it up to the department to contact FPF to post listings, or does HR assist with this? So, so the question is kind of both. Reality is that you will be engaging from a purchasing perspective directly with FPF, and probably for placement of your ad, what the ad copy is going to be. But we in HR stand by to assist with in any way possible where we can to help you with writing the ads or getting you pricing if need be. But really the best way to do it is to contact Susie directly, and she can quickly get you exactly the right targeted pricing and give you the best guidance on what makes most sense. But if you do have any questions or issues, and also your talent acquisition specialists, Denise and Derek, are also familiar with Front Porch Forum, so they might be able, in your talks with them about sourcing strategies and advertising strategies, they might be able to kind of help you out, kind of recommend maybe ideas around this. But go ahead, Michael. Did you have
Bill, can I make one closing comment?
Yeah.
As an employer, Front Porch Forum has 16 employees. I've done all my employment advertising through Front Porch Forum, and my little secret there is, instead of getting active job seekers as applicants, I tend to get people who are already, fully engaged in their current job and doing great work, and they hear about the opportunity through the Front Porch Forum posting, and they come to check it out. And so, Front Porch Forum job ads are very different than typical job board type listings, in that you're reaching the general population, not just job seekers.
Right.
And that's when interesting things happen.
That's when you tap into that passive market. We have one more question, and I probably caused this confusion. The first question says, I'm a bit confused. Do we need to notify HR in our listing of Front Porch Forum? Absolutely not. You can go directly and advertise. You don't need to notify us. This is directly it's not part of the coordinated advertising program. So you don't have to notify us. I'm going to work with Susie directly, kind of just to get a hit on what people are doing. So I will get kind of data from her on where if people are placing ads, so that I can get an idea as we move to maybe making this a more centralized program. But no, you don't need to notify us. You just go right ahead and contact and place. We're just here for advice and guidance if you need us.
And I am available if anybody wants to call or email me with further questions about Front Porch Forum. If anything wasn't clear or you want to get more detail about that. And my closing comment would just be, we have 145,000 statewide members. They're members. They've opted to be here. They're active. They're engaged. They're creating the content of the newsletter that comes out and then watching for responses. And as I said, I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing it, because I see the results. I see how it supports and helps, Vermont businesses, and I think it could do the same for the state.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so again, send your questions. Contact Susie if you have more questions about advertising. So, and again, we have one more question coming in. If there's no state contract, can you speak a bit about how payment is done? Do you want to take that now?
Yeah,
or want to take it offline?
we invoice directly,
okay.
And you can pay by check or as a credit card link. It's we just send you the invoice and you put it through your little bureaucratic pipeline.
Right. So think about it as if you were placing an ad with a paper that isn't part of the coordinated advertising program. So if you were going to be placing it in a venue that wasn't the Free Press, 7 Days, or the Rutland Herald Times Argus, same kind of situation. You would pay directly, order and pay directly from there, and they can handle all the payment situations. So, all right. With that said, thanks everybody again. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Susie. I really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, please let us know. I'll also send out all these handouts so everybody has them, and I will send a link for the recorded webinar. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.